Thank you, Minister, for your time today and for your efforts over the last few months. I know you're in demand, so I'm going to have to give you a whistle-stop tour of the issues that are affecting Dublin West at the moment. Minister, what can be done about the removal of the sibling-first admission policy in primary schools, which has been undertaken by the Archdiocese in Dublin? I know this only relates to schools that are oversubscribed, but that affects a significant amount of schools in Dublin 15, which has one of the most dense populations in the country. Parents who are already struggling with their work-life balance can't be commuting to 2 or 3 or 4 different schools every morning. I feel the patron is showing a distinct lack of empathy here for the realities of family life. Secondly, a Desh primary school in my area made an appeal because they are losing 2 out of their 15 teachers this year, despite their numbers for September 2020 being up at the mark where they should only lose 1 teacher. After an arduous appeal process, and I know because I was with them on that process, they didn't hear directly from the Department of Education about the decision to retain that decision. They heard second-hand. It's left the school disappointed, disillusioned and short-staffed in a year where schools need flexibility to cope with COVID-19. Which brings me to the survey of pupils to determine teacher numbers next year. I believe the deadline is the 30th of September. Minister, I think there needs to be flexibility this year for schools in the borderline for losing teachers. Some schools have reported to me that not all of the children have been able to return to school yet because of self-isolation or international travel restrictions. On the issue of PPE, some suppliers did it very well, but some didn't. What mechanisms are in place to deal with the companies that didn't deliver? Because PPE isn't just required for school reopenings. Minister, there has also been a problem in relation to prefabs for growing populations and overcrowding at schools in Dublin 15. Are you aware of this, as I'm sure it must be happening in other areas of the country? There was a COVID-19 planning suspension, as you know, but surely then preparations could have been made to deal with delays on the other side to do with supply, especially when social distancing was always going to require more school accommodation. The department was aware which schools had made applications, and yet there doesn't seem to have been enough urgency about securing the prefabs as soon as possible. In relation to school transport, I have pupils that have been refused on school bus transport from Lucan, where there aren't school places for them, to a new school in Luttrellstown that has space. If they can't get the school bus, their parents can't drop them by car to access the only school places available to them in the vicinity of their home. Surely common sense must prevail over bureaucracy. Lastly, there were 16% of pupils whose grades were less than predicted by teachers, and the majority of those came from fee-paying schools. Can the Minister explain that discrepancy, how it came about? All children, and they are children, are entitled to fair treatment, regardless of the choices their parents have made for their education. In choosing for their education, some of these parents have taken the decision to forgo the things we might associate with a privileged life to pay for school fees. Many have ordinary jobs with average wages. The decision to send the child to a fee-paying school might be for all sorts of reasons. And I was disappointed to read in the media about these children being branded entitled or privileged. So I'm seeking some clarity on their behalf today. Thank you, Minister.